I truly believe that if you aren't where you want to be at financially, it's because you're working way too hard. I have seen too many people around me in the online money making space. I've seen them crash and burn because all they do is work. Now, let me say this. When you're working on something that you truly, truly are passionate about, I do think that you should go balls to the wall, 100 miles per hour at that one thing. But the problem is that in today's society, when something doesn't work for someone for, 1 or 2 months, they end up giving up and they just chalk it up to it was a failure and move on to the next thing. And in those 1 or 2 months, they go, you know, 100% at that thing, not realizing that it takes a lot more than just 1 or 2 months to become extremely good at something. Like, for instance, I've been doing sales to some degree or not since I was about 18 years old. And I've never worked particularly hard at sales, but I've done so much repetition that I have mastered the skill and the art of speaking and persuading people. And but I've never like trained and done these crazy courses or done a particular selling style like the Jeremy Miner or the straight line selling like Jordan Belfort. I just did it so much that I got good at it. And I think that these people get into these long ended seasons of just hustle, but they don't realize that the real world experience that you need only comes from, and the great ideas that you get actually come from unknown places, right? Unknown things that you wouldn't normally do, things that are kind of actually against, hustle culture and how hard you have to work to become successful and all these things. I truly think that traveling, for instance, gives you more ideas. Getting out of the room or the house that you live in. I think that going out and not necessarily networking, but even just going out to dinner with your boys or a good group of friends and just talking and brainstorming, that can 10x productivity. I think that just locking yourself in a room for 16 straight hours, and don't get me wrong, I do think that there are certain times that you need to do that kind of stuff, but if you're just doing it every single day, I think that you're going to eventually burn yourself out and then you stop becoming creative. You really stop becoming creative. I think that going out into the real world and using the creative juices that God has given you and speaking with people and iron sharpens iron. So naturally, when you're talking to somebody, they might be able to give you a good idea or tell you the idea that you have might be shit, right? I really think that my best self comes out when I'm traveling because I am forced to think in a different way, in a way of which is different than if I was just to be sitting at my desk, all the time. And the truth is, I actually probably am closer to the 16-hour a day guy than I am to the guy that does travel all the time. And I'm trying to get to the point where I can travel all the time and I'm kind of on the road all the time and obviously working in between. It's not like I don't want to work. But when I took the trip to Spain or when I went to California, it's funny. I actually do better and close more deals because I'm more relaxed. I'm kind of at ease. I'm not so stressed out. I'm not so boxed in. Rather than when I'm just home working at my desk 24/7 with with just looking at this view that I have, I feel less creative. I feel less charismatic. I just feel less like myself, truthfully. And so I do think that in a way, you obviously want to hustle, right? But at the same time, you need to go live as well. I think that you will do much better when you're out there exploring and forcing yourself to be in different uncomfortable environments. So that's just some food for thought. Of course, keep hustling, work hard. There's different seasons of life with what you got to do, but I do think that I personally am entering a season in which that I need to travel and see different environments and different landscapes to really open up my brain to be more creative. So do with that information as you will, boys. And until next time, peace.